I can honestly say I like them because Manuel Acevedo, because I feel like we grew up together. These are people that we grew up in Newark together making art.
And you experience, so you're almost like on the same timeline.
We're on the same timeline, yeah.
And you're working on a project now?
I'm always working on a project. I never stop, whether it's an art project or a film project or a video project or poetry projects. I can't stop working.
That's beautiful. So could you tell us about the project you're working on now? Or is that a secret?
I'm doing tapestries right now because have you ever seen the tapestries that are in the Metropolitan Museum?
The ones that stay in there all the time?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, tapestries tell a story. I love telling stories because I like the idea of work having a story to it, because then it's like the guy who goes around in the old days singing the song about or reading the poet off and carrying the history on. It's like passing on the history. So what I love about the tapestry idea is that the whole tapestry could be the beginning and the end of a battle, the beginning and the end of the life of somebody. It's a whole story right in itself. And I think, we have to grab our family stories.
Yes.
And start putting them in some place where our children and our grandchildren and our great-grandchildren can see them and say, what is that about? Or what was that? Tell me that story, Mommy. Tell me this story, Grandma. And that's what I'm doing now. I'm making tapestries that can hang in my house, can hang in my daughter's house, can hang in my granddaughter's house, she can hang it in her house, or when she's at her child's house, that will tell the story of our family. That's what I'm doing. Now, other people might do it in a different way, but that's what I'm doing, yeah.
And that's how you're expressing yourself through that art. That's phenomenal. I'll definitely come see that, because that's so important for us as a people to be able to express ourselves through the art, so the next generation can see the stories and have something that they can touch, something that's tangible, and not believe this story or that story. Right. And who knows what mass culture will tell them who you are. We can't rely on that. We have to rely again on the true art, where we touch and we create and pass on, almost put in their hand.
But a little piece of what you just said, we don't know what the mass culture will say. Okay, like we don't know what they're going to say about Obama, for example. But I know what I would say about Obama. Okay?
Is that going to be in the tapestry?
No, but I'm just using that as a reference point for us to understand where I'm coming from. But it doesn't matter whether I tell it this way or that way. It's important that I tell it. Okay? Because none of the heroes who have all been real and who have all lived have lived the lives that we know them having lived.
Right, that's true.
Because by the time the stories change over, and I find that when I make up my stories, I learn something new and then I flick it this way. Or it doesn't feel right that way, so I flick it that way just to make it more palatable. You understand what I mean?
Yeah, no, that's what we always do.
Okay, and that's mythology, yeah.
Yes, I was going to say the same word. Yeah. So in 100 years, your story could be almost like myth.
Well, it will be myth to my family because they have the stories. I'm even writing them down, so.
Really?
Yeah, I'm writing them down. I'm writing the life story of everybody in my family because I've gone and I've researched every single person that I knew. Every aunt and uncle that I knew, and cousin that I knew.
And if I may ask you, how are you going to maintain it? How are you going to keep it so that other people can have access to it?
I'm putting it in a book. I'm going to make it in a book form
or in a
with
binder.
Pictures.
Right.
And the family will have the...
Good.
Yeah. So that'll get handed down through... and then, of course, they'll have the digital part of it, too, because... You can put it on
how long have you been working on that idea?
Oh, that I've been working on for maybe about two or 3 years now. just finished a tapestry that took me 2 years to do. And after that, I started the book. When did I start the book? About 2 years now. Yeah, a year and a half, 2 years now. Yeah. Because I had so much material that I've been collecting stuff since I was a kid.
So, when did you know you were an artist? You said you've been collecting since you were a kid.
That's right. I knew I was an artist at the age of, I think I was 10 or 11 years old. My father bought me, I used to draw a lot even before that, but my father brought home, he used to work on the American base, and on the American base they have the base shops.
Yes.
And they have all the American stuff. So he found some palette paints, a little palette paint, the silly little palette paints.
Look how excited you're getting.
He brought it to me.
Look how excited you're getting just thinking about that.
He brought it home to give it to me, and I was in awe of it. Because I'd never seen paints before, I'd never seen a brush before, all I knew was pencil and paper. And I was drawing on brown paper.
Oh, I love that. What I love is the passion that is so deep within you that when you bring up the image, all the expression and emotion, all of it comes out.
That's why I did it. That's why I love it. That's why I became an artist. I think I knew from that moment that art was where I was at home. Whether I became an artist or not, that was the home that I crept into when I wanted to feel secure.
I've heard that. It's just a safe space.
It's my safe. It's my safe space. Right. No one can touch me. Okay, so let's end this now.
Thank you.
Sure. And what is this thing about the artist creates the artist creates what?
She's asked me about my title. The artist recreates the world.
The artist doesn't recreate the world. Everybody recreates the world, not just the artist.
Well,
we're not special in that way.
Well, that's interesting that you say that because I think the reason I probably took that title, that the artist recreates the world, is because that probably comes out of my Christian upbringing, where I have this kind of there's a special group or selection that have these abilities and others don't. So, now that you said it and you brought it out, but I believe in that saying that it's the artist. That's where I'm coming from. I believe in the saying. Let me explain further. In Christianity, as you know.
But everybody's an artist. Everybody's an artist, yes. Have you ever seen anything that you do in life, if you do it to the best of your ability, to the best of the possibility of it being done, even if it's an accountant with figures or anything. Anything
I agree with you on that. Yes. It still goes
recreating the world
right.
Too.
So the artist recreates the world. For my purposes and for my videos, I've been focusing on the Newark artists. The Newark artists in terms of I don't want the Newark artists to be seen, and I want them to see in the light in terms of that I'm talking to you, and I'm talking to the spoken word artists here on the ground. I want the narrative in 2015. So that was my own whole intention in terms of when I say the artist recreates the world. But you're absolutely right. You're absolutely right. Yes, we all are artists.
Yes.
But for this particular venue, yes, I'm selecting the musician and the painter and the poet because here I see we need some working out. We're still working out our understanding of who we are as artists.
In Newark?
Yes.
Okay. I don't think it's that
serious?
New.
No, it's not.
I don't think it's that.
No.
I don't think it's. I think that it's a continual change.
It is.
Okay,
but remember who I'm talking to. We're talking to most people that follow me are Generation X and Y. Not as many baby boomers, not as many from the greater generation. So what you've been through, you've seen this already in cycles. You've seen the process. You've talked about it. But there's some that's just coming aboard, and they don't have access to the teachers or the training or even mentorship. You see what I'm saying? So our communities, in terms of, from my perspective, our communities here in terms of the art world, kind of work in silos. You understand what I'm saying?
Yes, I understand what you're saying.
So that's what this is addressing. That's what I'm addressing. The artistry.
Well, I would like to say to those people,
yes, say them, please.
That what I would recommend as an elder,
yes,
that they look within themselves, because the answer is definitely there.
I agree with you. I agree with you.
And I think we can cut it on that.
Good. Thank you.
You're welcome.